Hi again. I'm Carrie Scott, an art historian and Contribute.to resident curator. In my last video, we focused on why it's so important to come up with a distinct cause, a real reason that you're asking for money. I told you that you had to personally identify what it is that gets you out of bed in the morning. That isn't easy, I know, but it's really important, not just for your card, but for life. It's so good to be able to identify what it is that drives you. If you did your homework, you'll have worked out how to articulate your cause in a way that will motivate people to support you. At the end of the day, it's all about being clear, specific, honest, and open. And most of all, don't be afraid of being passionate. Now, here's the next challenge. You need to figure out how to convey this in a very short film, like 60 seconds. Thanks to social media, video is king these days. And having a 60-second clip that sums up your goals, your dreams, your hopes, all the really big stuff, is going to be key to getting people to donate to you. It's going to be key to getting people behind you. So in this video, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about how to make a great film. I'll also give you some examples of what works, what doesn't, and what to do with this film once you've nailed it, which I'm sure you will. So first, let's make sure we've got the practical variables nailed. I'm talking about sound, lighting, and recording. Step one. The first thing you need to do is find a quiet spot where you're comfortable. Look at me. I'm hanging out in my living room. My kids are all in bed. I'm kind of hoping that the noise is going to be to a minimum. The absolute worst thing you can do is to film a video in a really noisy spot or one where you feel self-conscious or uncomfortable in any way. So think about settling into a nook in your home or studio, a corner. Find somewhere you know won't be disturbed. Second, you've really got to think about your lighting. Harsh overhead light isn't ideal, nor is super dim low lighting. I'm right now sitting in front of a lamp, which is a far sort of more gentle lighting than overhead. And hopefully it's bathing me in a good, flattering light. If you want to be outside or are fortunate to have a room that's bathed in natural sunlight, that's great. But please don't record facing the sun. You'll either look completely washed out or you'll be squinting so much we won't be able to get the real you. Step two. Put your phone in airplane mode. Honestly, the worst thing in the world is to be halfway through a perfect take and have a text message or some other alert come in. So get your Do Not Disturb activated and then hit record. Airplane mode, people. The next thing I would always suggest is using a tripod. If you don't have one of those to hand, don't worry too much. There are lots of ways to rig something stable at home, but don't hand hold. You'll shake around too much even if you have the steadiest of hands, and we want the frame to be fixed. Okay, we've established some of the practical stuff. Now comes the tough bit, and that's writing your script. You need something natural and from the heart. Maybe imagine that I'm interviewing you, or a robot is, and we've asked you, why do you want to use Contribute.to? What do you want to get out of this? See if you can answer that using what you wrote from your card, edited down. What do you want to get out of using Contribute.to? Let's take a look at Andrew Blauschild, who managed to do just this. He talked really clearly and from the heart about why he was using Contribute.to.
The plan is to go to the Rockies. I haven't spent that much time there, but I grew up on the photos of like Wilkinson and Ansel Adams and all of those classic photographers of the West, seeing the landscapes and being like, oh my God, they're incredible. So I want to go to Yellowstone. I want to go to Yosemite. I want to go to all the parks. And I want to shoot these locations again from some of the same locations they did, maybe some different, and see what's happening 100 years and change later to those environments. You have to go into those places with utmost respect for nature, and it's amazing to me how these guys like Ansel went into these environments And I don't know if they were carrying firearms or whatever. There was definitely no bear spray back then, but they had 100 pounds of camera equipment, and they went into these mountains that were unknown and loaded with wildlife back then because we'd not been hunted or killed. I mean, they were courageous. So that's another point of this too. I want to have the courage to go into these mountains solo and explore.
Andrew's done an exceptional job here, being really natural and talking very quickly about a huge project that he wants to complete. He's distilled it, he's made it clear, and I, for one, want to get behind him. Now, since I am obviously asking so much for you, I thought I should even challenge myself and make a video asking for funding. So, let's take a look at that. Over the past decade, there's been a sense in the art world that equity was on the horizon. Emerging female artists landed high-profile solo shows, museums were staging exhibitions themed around people of color and minorities, grants were being awarded to long-neglected artists. But the numbers don't lie. New data shows that between 2008 and 2018, only 11% of art acquired by the country's top museums for their permanent collection were by women. And contrary to any hope that acquisitions of artwork by women are inching upward, the percentage remained relatively stagnant according to the data. Therefore, with Contribute.to, I want to raise $10,000 to buy a work by a female artist who has graduated from an MFA program this year. I'll then donate that artwork to a major institution like the V&A, the National Portrait Gallery, or even the Tate. It's something I'd like to do annually, but let's see if together we can get it to happen just once. So what did you think? Did that work for you? Do you feel like you want to give to my cause? Listen, I've always been passionate about inequality. I'm a Libra, and I'm all about balance. It really matters to me that men and women still simply aren't equals. But what's nuts is because I just forced myself to do that alongside you for the tutorial, it's actually made me think that I should make a card and see if I can get that fund started. So I will, I promise. By the time this goes up on the web, I'll have built Contribute.to Carrie Scott Female Fund. You guys got me to speak to what gets me out of bed in the morning. I need to go make that a reality. But enough of that. Let's go back to you. Let's jot down some notes about what really matters and why you're asking for money. Use the text you made for the card and make it even more personal. The best part is, thankfully, you won't have to memorize what you come up with because there are lots and lots of apps out there where you can upload text and they turn it into teleprompts. My favorite is actually what I'm using right now, Prompt Smart. And you don't have to recite things word by word, but it just gets you to remember all the points you were trying to say. So now you got all your ducks in a row. Go find that spot you picked out and take a moment to record your video. Do a couple takes. Don't be shy. Don't worry if you fumble. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just really has to be authentic and without distraction. I can't wait to see the videos that you all put on your cards. You can always send them to me on Instagram. Our Contribute.to account is manned by a bunch of great people, and we will always give you honest feedback. But listen, we believe you got this. We believe your passion should be supported. I know you're going to do a great job.